Mic check 1 2 1 2. It's the Y2K collector. So really quick, I answered a question that one of my subscribers asked me about starting a collection. And originally, I was gonna say that if you want to start a retro collection, that you should start with the minis. The minis like the Sega Genesis Mini 2, the Sega Genesis Mini, that one that you see down there. You've also got the NES Mini. You've got the Neo Geo Mini. You've also got the SNES Mini. Now, here's the thing with these mini consoles. The thing that, here's the reason why I did not recommend starting off with one of these mini consoles. And it's because there is a very noticeable lag in the inputs. What do I mean? So if you're playing a fighting game, there's almost like a half-second delay between the point where you push the button and the character on the screen actually takes the action, which can really throw you off when you're playing fighting games or when you're playing like shoot 'em ups and things like that. And that's primarily those are primarily the types of games that I would play on the Sega Genesis Mini. You do get the same type of lag on the SNES Mini as well. I can't tell if it's as bad on the SNES Mini as it is on the Sega Genesis Mini, and that's primarily because I don't really feel like there's as many fast-paced games on the SNES Mini as there are on the Sega Genesis Mini. When you're playing like RPG games or just games that don't require as much like quick reaction and quick reflexes, I don't think it's something that you're going to notice as much, but you definitely notice it when it comes to the Sega Genesis Mini 2. And that sucks because there's a lot of really good games on the Sega Genesis and the Sega Genesis Mini 2 that, in my opinion, makes both of the consoles definitely worth, trying out at least, just to at least see what the games look like or see what the games are. I think there's definitely some really good options and some really good games that you can kind of take advantage of. And even if you want to kind of look at some of them here, I mean, looking at the Genesis Mini, if between the Genesis Mini and the Genesis Mini 2, a lot of the games that you see down here are on both of those mini consoles. You get access to Ghouls and Ghosts, Illicit Dragoon, Ranger X. You also get access to Shadow Dancer, Shinobi 3, Streets of Rage 3, Elemental Master, Streets of Rage. So there's a lot of like really great Sega Genesis games that you can take advantage of when you do get the Sega Genesis Mini and the Mini 2. But just that lag, that half-second lag, makes a world of difference when you're playing some of these games. Like Thunder Force 3 is a very difficult shoot 'em up. I mean, you gotta really be on point with your movements, with your timing, so that you don't get blasted out of the sky. And that half-second difference can mean everything, especially once you start getting up into those higher levels. And that's the biggest part of the reason why I did not put the minis on the list of consoles that you should probably look into if you're just starting out and if you're just starting to build a retro gaming collection. That's also a big part of the reason why I firmly believe in, collecting and preserving my retro video games. And as you can see, I have a decent selection of retro games. I'm not gonna act like my collection right here is small. I know it's definitely not near as big as some of the other YouTubers out there. You've got some YouTubers who have entire like libraries of video games. I only have the games that I actually enjoy and the games that I want to play. So you're gonna see a lot of like platformers, shoot 'em ups, things like that in my collection, because those are the games that I like to play. Those are the only ones that I'm really gonna have. I don't have a ton of RPGs. I do have some, but I'm not really like the RPG guy, especially when it comes to like the 8-bit and 16-bit era. RPGs, to me, I probably am more willing to get into those in the 5th, 6th, and 7th generation. But when it comes to like this 8 and 16-bit generation, yeah, I'm more of like the Punisher type of guy, Streets of Rage, Forgotten Worlds. Like, that's my wheelhouse. That's my cup of tea. And as you can see, like Hyperstone Heist, right, Gunstar Heroes, Batman, Castlevania, all of these types of games they're short games. They're not long games by any means. They're games that you could beat in 1 to 2 days. Most of these you could beat in a few hours, but they do require precision. They do require great timing, and they do require accuracy when playing these games. So, and this is why I think it's important to keep the originals. You know, without the original games, you know, I can still play these games. I can still emulate them. I can still, you know, obviously get them on, you know, I can find a way to play these games. I don't have to necessarily have the physical cartridges and the physical games in my library. But I know that from a nostalgia standpoint, and even to a certain degree from a gameplay standpoint, a lot of those emulators and like mini consoles and things like that, they're not gonna play the same. They're not gonna feel the same. And I know because I've done the tests. I've gone from playing the original, you know, the original games to switching over to the minis and then coming back, and you just definitely feel the difference with those types of games. But maybe it's just me. Maybe it's all in my head. I don't think so. But let me know down in the comments if you have the you know, an original Sega Genesis library, and you also have like the minis, consoles, and things like that too. Let me know down in the comments. Do you see or sense a difference when you're playing your mini console versus when you're playing the original console? Do you feel like there's a difference in the gameplay? Do you notice any type of lag? Do you notice that there's any type of difference in the timing? Because I sure do. The last time I tried to play my Sega Genesis Mini, I had to just turn it off because I was trying to play Lightning Force, and I kept missing my movements by like a half step. And you know, it kind of makes you have to like make your moves in advance almost, which can be very, very tough and very difficult. So let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments. That does it for me. I'm on my way to the supermarket, and I'll catch you in the next video. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.